Hello everyone, I'm Jessica Blackbird. Welcome to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. You guys, Kanye West is off his rocker, I think. And I'm going to agree with many people who think that this is an opinion, it's not a fact, that Candace, who I agree with 90% of the time on the culture destroying children. I agree that with her that, children shouldn't be on TikTok. Children should not be allowed to transition under the age of 18. And I'm trying to work on a video where there are thousands of young men and women who transitioned as children and now their lives are destroyed. So I agree with her on that. I agree with her that God should be in the schools and in our lives at every point. But like I said in my other video about Candace, I don't agree with her on the George Floyd murder. She has a problem, in my opinion, when it comes to George Floyd. It just feels like she hates this guy and never even knew him. Could it be just like another very popular YouTuber said that when she looks in the mirror, she hates her black skin? That is an opinion also. That was his opinion, and I'm agreeing with his opinion. And she just hates, I was looking at her and saying, yeah, she says these stupid, hateful things, but these things, the 90% that I think is, falls in with my beliefs and the beliefs of most of my family, would always make me turn a blind eye to most of what she would say. However, her documentary is out. I have not seen it, but Kanye was on Drink Champs and he spoke about the documentary. And I'm going to let you guys hear some of the things that he said, and then we'll talk about it. But really, I think that he needs to stay away from Candace because she is very influential, in my opinion, upon him. And she's going to lead him down the wrong road. If you guys want to know more about the Candace Kanye intermixing, go to Tisa Tells. She has some information that I saw today about the mixing of money. Okay, so go there if you want to know about where the money's going, but listen to this first about George Floyd and the documentary that Candace did. So let me play this clip from Kanye from his interview on Drink Champs. And before I get to that, I just want to say once again, I think that Candace Owens, is a very bad or poor influence on Kanye. I really do. I really, really do. So here we go.
I watched the George Floyd documentary that Candace Owens put up. One of the things that his two roommates said was, they want a tall guy like me. They want a tall guy like me. And the day when he died, he said a prayer for 8 minutes. He said a prayer for 8 minutes.
So the officer his name, I talked about him in my other video that I did about Candace. Derek Chauvin, that was his name. That is his name. He was on the neck. We all clearly saw this on the video. He was on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes while the life just left George Floyd's body. Not only was Derek Chauvin on his neck, there was another officer with his knee on George Floyd's back. So, Candace is saying that George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. Who cares if they found that in his system? Okay, he wasn't falling, dropping dead, walking around. So if he had it in his system, with those two on one on his back and one on his neck, he was on his stomach, which we all know because of other people of color who suffocated. If someone is on their stomach, their lungs are not going to expand as well. Yeah, they will expand, but not with somebody on your back. If someone is on your back and you have a substance in you that is already a central nervous system depressant, which means that it makes you breathe at a slower pace, and then when you're breathing at a slower pace, your lungs are not expanding fully. But that was not going to take his life if he was walking around or sitting up or anything. So if he really had all of that in his system, when they put a knee to his neck and a knee to his back, they murdered him. It doesn't matter if he had the substance in his body. That's not the catalyst that caused his death. What the catalyst was a knee to the neck and a knee to the back. And they looked so smug while they were doing it, especially Derek Chauvin. Like I said before, it seemed to me that the more the onlookers begged him to get off, the more satisfied he felt. That is what it looked like to me. And for Candace to just flat out deny, that is what killed him. And also, she has a problem always calling him a criminal and calling him, George Floyd, all sorts of names. Who cares what his past criminal record was? Does that mean that those police officers got to be judge and jury? Does it mean that they had the right to snuff his life out? Does it mean they had the right to take him from the world, from his loved ones? No, they did not have the right. And that is why Derek Chauvin's ass is sitting in prison right now. And like I said, I agree with 90% of her political leanings. And I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I am an independent. So I'm not right-leaning at all. But I agree that children should be monitored and should not be allowed to, I said that already, allowed to do all sorts of things. They should be off of TikTok and off the internet until a certain age. But I will never support her because, ever again, that is, because of her stance. Like, she wants to blame this man for his death that was caused by someone else, you know? And then they're saying, okay, he was, calling out for his mama, and they're saying, well, mama is the girlfriend's name. That's what he called her. We don't know who he was calling out for. He could have been calling out for his mother. If you feel your life leaving you, and it does not matter if he was calling her mama, his girlfriend at the time, it doesn't matter. He was calling out for help, for someone to save him. That is what matters. So I just feel this fire raging in the pit of my stomach over her stance on this. Like, that man deserved to be murdered. And you guys, when I saw that video, I couldn't watch the entire thing. And after that, I cannot watch any videos where the police are abusing a person, whether they're black, white, yellow, red, whatever, you know. I just can't. And seeing his life taken from him in front of our eyes in that way, in a slow, methodical way, torturous way, that was the real catalyst that started Black Lives Matter growing and growing. And people all around the world saw what black people go through in the United States. So it's like our lives don't matter. And Candace must look in the mirror and see a totally different color. Or maybe she feels safe because she's so in proximity to white. Well, I hate to tell her, I was also married to a Caucasian. That was my first husband. And I did see things were easier, but not everything. And some people will hate you even more because your black skin had the audacity to marry a white person. I got a lot of that. And in the end, I knew that I would never, ever marry another white person. I'm not a racist, but being from the South and the deep South, once that marriage was over, I realized how much racism I had faced and just, looked the other way. So Candace is not safe, even if she thinks she is. So, and there were people in these videos, I forgot who it was, who spoke about her her co-workers. Well, Ben Shapiro did not show up. It is reported Ben Shapiro did not show up to the screening of her documentary about Black Lives Matter, and a bunch of other people from the show that she's on. She's in a group, I forgot the name of them, but they didn't show up. And some people were thinking it was because Kanye was there and he just spoken out about some Jewish people that had done him wrong, which I still don't see it as anti-Semitic. I see it as he has a problem with a certain select people in the Jewish community. I just think that it was stupid that he could have said, these record execs or these bank executives or something like that, instead of throwing their ethnicity / religion in there. But anyway, let's get back to Kanye's statements on Drink Champs.
They hit him with the fentanyl. If you look, the guy's knee wasn't even on his neck like that. When he said mama is his girlfriend. They said he screamed for his mama. Mama was his girlfriend. It's in the documentary. It's
in the documentary, Kanye, but the documentary was made by Candace Owens, a hater of George Floyd. And look, I agree that the Black Lives Matter organization, they seem to be thieves. They seem to not have used any of that money to help Black lives. There is proof that they used funds to hire people from the SEX industry and all types of SEX industry workers. There's proof from what I heard from people who saw the documentary. Candace Sose had proof, and also that a big bulk of money was given to the LGBTQ and trans people. But to the Black community, much of nothing. So they raised between 80 and 90 million dollars, and George Floyd's rent went unpaid. So the organization is different than the movement, you guys. The movement is what sparked after George Floyd. And these people came in and started taking over, organizing, and next thing you know, they're enriching themselves. But anyway, so Kanye's repeating what he saw in the documentary, like if, okay, you don't have eyeballs, Kanye. You couldn't see that he had his full weight on that man's neck? And did you not see the other man on his back? And then there was, I think he was an Asian police officer. He was also, I don't know if he was kneeling on his back or his buttocks or his leg, but he got up and made sure that no bystanders came close while they methodically murdered a man in broad daylight. So let's get back to Kanye's comments.
That hit me, that fucked me up when I was watching the documentary.
Excuse the language, you guys.
And it said they want a tall guy like me. When I looked at that image of him, this tall Black dude with the bald head, he reminded me of somebody else. Who you think he reminded me of?
Virgil.
He reminded me of Virgil. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna cry in front of y'all because that's how they get me, right? But I know that we lost him. And I know that this white company, Louis Vuitton, is now making statues of him, like as a martyr. And we don't know why exactly. We say it's cancer.
So you guys, Virgil, I don't remember his last name, but he was a designer with Louis Vuitton and a friend of Kanye's. He passed away, I think it was in 2018. I'm not sure, but I think it was in 2018. So let's continue.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna cry in front of y'all because that's how they get me, right? But I know that we lost him. And I know that this white company, Louis Vuitton, is now making statues of him, like as a martyr. And we don't know why exactly. We say it's cancer.
But I want to be careful with this subject because.
Wait a second, but tell me, could you even really run this interview? Because Mav didn't run my interview.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They blocked me out. The Jewish media blocked me out.
So he's about to talk about Candace. So let's listen in.
I'm lit. You know what I'm saying? JP Morgan, I put $140 million into JP Morgan and they treated me like shit. So if JP Morgan Chase is treating me like that, how they treating the rest of y'all?
That's outrageous, yeah.
And this murderers with Chase accounts.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I am outraged. By the time people they want to calm it down.
Because no matter what, you didn't break no law.
I didn't break a law. I didn't break a law.
The bank shouldn't be a judge or jury on anything that's
but
going
this
on.
But it's like a social contract. Candace Owens has a word for it, I'm forgetting. But it's basically like they told Candace Owens she couldn't hang out with me. You know, I'm here because I didn't have no outlet. I was on Tucker Carlson, right? And people, Trump supporters, they think it's so, you know, they think it's nice that a black guy supports Trump. But it's like, would they really support me when I do? Because they said legally I'm not allowed to say what's happening in 2024. But all those people that love me when I run against, when I wore the hat, right? would they support me? I got to say something about the hat. That's one of the things that really drove me to the edge.
Some of the MAGA hat.
The MAGA hat. Imagine your own wife telling you, "Oh, the hat's small dick energy." Meanwhile,
oh my gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't realize he was going to say that word, but did you hear what he said? Kim told him, and then Candace tells him that she's not allowed to hang out with him. I think that was, you know, I think she told him that just to get something started. Anyway, I do not trust her. I once looked at her and thought she was misunderstood, but now I think that Candace is very, very calculating and very hateful. And even though she says some really good things that I agree with, there are too many, far too many effed up things that she says out of her mouth. And this week, I've really, really taken a look at her, and she hates Black people, and that is my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. You know, even though she says some really good things, makes some good points about the youth, the Black children, there's too much hate in her heart, too much self-loathing. And those are my opinions. I don't know her heart, but from outside looking in, she needs help. And Kanye does too. And I really think that he should stay the hell away from Candace. I really do. And as another YouTuber that I just think is the most amazing ever, she's so sweet and so kind, Tisa Tells, you guys go to her page. She has some information about some money exchanging between Candace's husband and Kanye. And I just think that Kanye is a mark for them. That is my opinion. It's not based in fact that I know. But outside looking in, once again, they are not a good influence on him. And I know just the other day, I was like, you know, Kanye, when he wore the White Lives Matter shirt, that I didn't think he meant any harm by it. And I really don't, because I even made a video about him talking about wanting to help Black people and all the things that he did and for Black people. I really think that he is being brainwashed by Candace Owens. And I'm not the only one who feels that way. So I don't know, you guys. We need to pray for Kanye, because he's not a bad person. He is just mentally sick. And when you have bipolar, because I have someone very close to me who has bipolar, you can be easily manipulated if you trust that person. If that person is so smiley and nice with you and never corrects you, never tries to get you on a path to healing, then you'll think that that is your friend, and they can make you do some stupid things. A loved one of mine who has bipolar almost died because that person listened to someone who did not have their best interest at heart. So let's really keep Kanye lifted in prayer, and hopefully he can start to get on the path to healing his brain, getting some therapy, and dropping Candace like a hot potato, okay? Drop her ass on the side of the road and burn rubber. Her disgusting attitude towards the murder of George Floyd will come back to haunt her. When all of the people that she's kissing ass for drop her, she's going to be like Stacey Dash and want to come sniveling and crying back to the Black community. But she's been hating on us for far too long. We won't welcome her back. She'll never get her card back. And another interesting thing that I heard, because I've been trying to fit bits and pieces together about her and her husband. Her husband was on an interview, and he said that he and Candace got engaged after only 17 days of knowing one another. And they went out to dinner once, but they weren't alone when they went to that dinner. And they did several, Zoom calls from, he was living in England and she was in the States. He's from there, actually. He's from the UK. I said England. He's from the UK. And after 17 days, he asked her to marry him, and she said yes. And so they were engaged, and about 8 months later, they were married. Now, how did she come to know this guy that quickly? I know some people think that it's love at first sight, but we'll see when the shit hits the fan in her life if he'll stick around. There's just something about both of them. He may stick around because they both seem to be slimy people. That is my opinion. And she's always speaking about being a Protestant. She's a Protestant and he's a devout Roman Catholic. Well, I was Roman Catholic my entire life until about 5 years ago. It doesn't mean that you're not a sinner because you're a devout Roman Catholic. It doesn't mean that you won't do bad shit. That doesn't mean anything, because in Catholicism, you can sin 1,000,000 times and then you go to confession and you say a few prayers. And I'm not trying to be ugly to Catholics, because I was a Catholic and my entire family is still Catholic. But some people may not take that, pardon for your sins as a one-time thing. They keep going and going and going and thinking they're forgiven. Maybe he's one of those Catholics who doesn't mind being sneaky and rotten and low down. And I don't know this guy. That's just my opinion. But he's married to Candace. So you have to assume sometimes that birds of a feather flock together. All right, you guys, that is my rant for today. If I do bring another video, I will not be ranting and raving, I promise you. But this just struck a chord in me. It just lit a fire under my ASS, and it just pissed me off. And I really think that Kanye is in one of his mental breaks, and he is being used and abused by a manipulative so-called friend. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, you guys.